Good morning, everyone. Kris here with Inspired Energy. Good morning, Hartwell.
Good morning, Kris. Good morning, everyone.
So, this morning, the card that you drew yesterday would have been the Gate of Fixed Rhythms, gate number 5.
Yeah.
So, yeah, what is the energy that we're looking at when we're looking at gate 5?
Well, what we're looking at is people with this gate are people who like their own particular routines, their own habits in life, their own
Mm-hmm.
rhythms, and when they follow their own rhythm through those routines and habits, then they do well. But if they don't, that often, it. So to follow it is to feel secure, is to feel healthy,
Mm-hmm.
to not be in rhythm, to not pay attention to your own routines and habits, is to move towards feeling insecure, feeling unhealthy,
Mm-hmm.
developing physical disorders, having your nervous system be overactivated.
Mm-hmm.
So these are the people that like their routines in life and
Mm-hmm.
who feel, there's a sense of. This is part of the channel of rhythm, which is connected up with gate 15.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so together, this creates the channel of rhythm, a design of being in the flow. So
Mm-hmm.
part of being in the flow is gate 5, which is understanding your own rhythms.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting because, when you describe that and I look at the list of people that you've put on here, I can
Yeah,
really see how that plays out for them. And especially in a couple people on the list that, when they do things in their own time and in their own space and in their own way, that they're in the flow and that they feel um, comfortable in their body, comfortable in their space. But
yeah,
when they get out of that and they have to fit in with a 9 to 5 schedule or whatever that may be, which is not part of their rhythm, then they get discombobulated.
sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Or I mean, it's easily possible that some of the people like the rhythm of the 9 to 5 too. It
Mm-hmm.
depends on the individual.
Well, I'm just saying the people that I'm looking at are people that
Uh,
don't like the 9 to 5. So when they have to fit within that, then it's not conducive to them living their best life, right?
for sure, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I mean, the people that I know, there's
Mm-hmm.
some people on this list, of course, that I know that you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But there is this sense of, yeah, really having and knowing their own way of doing things when they're in
Mm-hmm.
alignment. It's like, oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
this is my flow, and don't mess with it. Or
Mm-hmm.
um, so yeah, I just they're a good example, really, because it's a very obvious one because it relates to an obvious area of life.
Mm-hmm.
But it really demonstrates the difference between being in alignment and not being in alignment. And
Mm-hmm.
that is generalizable when we think about all the other gates as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Um,
exactly. So
so,
how do you recognize this gate and the shadow side of it?
well, if we look at it from the gene keys perspective, yes, this gene key is all about our relationship to time. Um, the shadow being impatience,
Mm-hmm.
and the gift being patience, and the city being timelessness. So, what does that mean, really? What it
Mm-hmm.
means is that life has built in rhythms. If you think about the built in rhythms of life, the built in rhythms of nature, of seasons, this is what the 5 is pointing to. Um, and when we the ancient name for this in the I Ching is the gate of waiting, or the energy of waiting. And so waiting here is not as in sort of passively sitting on the couch. Creating here is an active state of awareness. It's about a willingness to tune into the overall flow of life.
Mm-hmm.
And but when we are afraid, the shadow state is ruled by fear. It interferes with the rhythm of life, because what we're saying basically is, I don't trust life. I don't trust you.
Mm-hmm.
I want to control you. So it makes us impatient. It makes us want to control. It's kind of like the flow of the river. It's like, don't push the river is kind of,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, it's a saying in my mind,
Right.
probably from Zen or Taoism or something. But at the shadow level, we push the river. We
Mm-hmm.
don't trust life. We don't trust the flow. And that makes us insecure.
Mm-hmm.
And that leads to all sorts of dissonance and dis-ease with life.
Mm-hmm.
So what is landing very powerfully for me these days, Kris, is the idea of fear means that I don't trust life, means
Mm-hmm.
that I don't trust God,
Mm-hmm.
means that I don't trust the natural order of things. And so when it was just fear I was thinking about, it didn't have as much impact on me. But when I think that my fear is evidence that I'm not trusting God and not trusting life, it gives me more motivation to want to relax into a trust for God.
Mm-hmm.
So on the shadow level, that's what it is. We don't listen to or follow or align with the rhythm of life. And it creates those consequences for us. But
One of the other words that you used is pessimistic. So,
mm,
yeah, and I find that really interesting too, because like when somebody is pessimistic and they're speaking into the world, what won't happen, that's what they're going to see happen. So they kind of
yeah,
stay stuck in that level, right, of shadow.
yes. And it's a very passive thing too. That's
Mm-hmm.
the passive side of the shadow.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy to be pessimistic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's plenty of things that you can point to as being wrong in the world. That's easy.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very passive approach to life. It's kind of like where, do you have any skin in the game here, people?
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, we do it, and it's like, oh, humans, we have to find a way to laugh at, and that helps us get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's like Richard Rudd says, we've forgotten that life itself sets the patterns of evolution, and that we're merely agents of those patterns.
Mm-hmm.
We make ourselves so important. And our the things that are going on for us are just so important. They're the center. And it's like, well, maybe not, maybe not. Um, so, but one of the things that one of commentators on the Gene Keys talks about is that, this is the time alchemist, if you like fancy terms, because our experience of time shifts
Dragona here,
according to
she
where
says
we.
projections.
What's that? Oh, you're freezing. We're freezing. We have a
Are
frozen
you
moment
back?
there. Yeah.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. Yeah, one of the people watching Dragona was commenting projections, is what I was saying.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what she means by that.
Well,
But
I think we were
yeah,
talking
it's
about pessimism, right?
right. When you're pessimistic, you
Mm-hmm.
project all your fears onto the world and they become so real.
Mm-hmm.
But the
Mm-hmm.
cool thing is that as we manage our fear better and learn to trust life more deeply, then our experience of time changes. And this is where the gift of patience, which seems kind of, oh, that seems kind of boring or obvious as a gift. But what
Mhm.
patience really means is that we've learned how to relax our need to control things. And we enter into a different energy. Think of, say, you have a good meditation session. It temporarily alters your experience of time. And what that really gives you is a mini example of how when we use meditation to ground ourselves and then generalize that into our life, it changes our experience of time, and potentially it changes our experience of light.
Mhm.
Because in the gene keys, this is part of the ring of light. The more we let go of our fear and trust, the more light moves through our DNA. It
Mhm.
moves through our vehicle and allows greater access to turning on aspects of our DNA that were dormant, and
Mhm.
allows us for a higher expression of our own energies. And this really kind of dovetails nicely with some of the technologies that are showing up here at Clair-i-tea for
Mhm.
bringing more light into our organisms.
Mhm.
And I
Yeah,
mean,
like
at the highest level, timelessness, super hard to describe, is the city, you
mhm.
know, um, where all the secrets of our DNA become unlocked because there's a greater frequency moving through the cells of our body.
Mhm.
Um, but it reminds me, when I think of timelessness, it reminds me of some of the people who have this full channel. Um, and our you and I share a mentor who is particularly,
Mhm.
time warps around these people. Time
Mhm.
serves these people. Probably they're so in tune with time that but it almost feels like time begins to serve them, even though they're so deeply
Mhm.
aligned that probably it's the other way around.
Yeah.
But, for people who have the full channel, they have the gift of potentially, when in alignment, bringing us all back into the rhythm of life.
Ah. Well, I noticed that Clarity's on that list as having the whole channel.
Yes,
Mhm.
it's a very interesting thing to contemplate.
Mhm.
I will just admit to you right now, Kris, that when I in astrology doing uh, noting the charts of things that you begin charts of things like businesses and countries can be a powerful thing, and can be
Mhm.
you can often clearly see what's going on, the relationship between an astrological chart of the company
Mhm.
and its characteristics. Now, I haven't really, human design does not talk about this. It does not normally create charts for companies, or non living entities.
Mhm.
And I haven't necessarily found a correlation there, but it's fun to contemplate. It's
Mhm.
interesting to contemplate.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, have you noticed anything you think that might be relevant with that channel of rhythm in relationship to clarity?
Well, it's about, um, because it was started, like, I mean, there was a time for it to come into fruition, right? And now we see the world catching up to what we started. So,
Hmm.
yeah, I can see it.
Cool.
Mm.
But you often see things from a unique perspective, which I really enjoy.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know that I have anything else to say about this, but what I will say in parting is that, for those of who are listeners for me, you can engage with me to get a foundation reading in human design. I really think that everyone should do that. It's information you need to know about yourself. Whatever you do with it, it's information you need to know. Um, and I have begun a monthly meeting where people interested in human design who have some familiarity can come, share their insights, learn, grow, and contribute to a group and community energy where that that container enlivens our exploration.
Yeah, for sure. And that's
The
like
next one is the
next
28th of
Thursday.
November.
Next Thursday, 6:30. So, yeah, everybody come, be there, and bring your charts, and we'd be happy to dive in together and explore together. So, yeah. So, with that, we'll say goodbye. God bless, and we'll see you guys next Wednesday at 9 a.m. Yes, Kelly, everybody needs to know. Thanks for watching. Okay. We'll see you guys later.